Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Good Shabbos to each of you. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. As we come into the main sanctuary on this Shabbat and take our seats, we are grateful for the opportunity to be together on this day and to take time to create a separation from all that may have occurred during the week, spending time in prayer, grateful to God for all the blessings we find in our lives. We are especially grateful for the opportunity to come together as Sydney and David are called to the Torah as B'nai Mitzvah. And we are pleased to welcome family and friends who are joining us here in the sanctuary and also those joining us via live stream. I invite you now to take hold of our prayer books. Inside, you will find our prayers both in Hebrew and in English. You will also find transliteration and the commentary at the bottom of each page to enhance your understanding of our worship service this morning. There will be times during the service we will invite you to rise. If you are able, we invite you to do so. And for those who are not, you may remain seated. Your prayers will still be heard. A special note to all of our young friends who are here with us this morning. We ask for you, please, to participate fully and respectfully in our service. We ask you, and for everyone here at this time, please to silence any cell phones you may have brought with you, and do not use them for any reason during our service this morning. In order to set the tone, the cantor will now begin for us in song.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Oh, Shabbat, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Shabbat, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Oh, Shabbat, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Oh, Shabbat, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah,
We continue on page 77.
Don't let me fall, as a stone falls upon the hard ground, and don't let my hands become dry, as the twigs of a tree when the wind beats down the last leaves. And when the storm raises dust from the earth, with anger and howling, don't let me become the last fly, trembling, terrified on the window pane. Don't let me fall. I've asked for so much, but as a blade of your grass in a distant wild field, let's drop a seed in the lap of the earth and dies away. Sow in me your living breath as you sow a seed in the earth. Please turn to page 108 for a call to worship, Baruch Hu. Please rise.
Baruch Hu. Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Page 110. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uvrei choshech, aseh shalom uvrei et chakol. Hameir la'aretz ladarim alecha brachamim, uvtuvo mechadesh bechol yom tamid, ma'aseh bereshit. Marabu ma'asecha, Adonai kulam bechokma asita, malach ha'aretz kinyanecha. Tibarach Adonai Eloheinu, al shabach ma'aseh yadecha, ve'al moreh or sha'asita, yafarucha selah. Or chadash al Tzion ta'ir, benizkeh chulanu mechera le'orot, baruch atah Adonai yotzer ha'meorot. We continue on page 112. How deeply you have loved us, Adonai, our God, gracing us with surpassing compassion. On the account of our forebears, whose trust led you to teach them the laws of life, be gracious to us, teaching us as well. O merciful one, have mercy on us by making us able to understand and discern, to heed, learn, and teach, and lovingly to observe, perform, and fulfill all that is in your Torah. Enlighten our eyes with your Torah, focus our minds on your mitzvot, unite our hearts in love and reverence for your name. Then we will never feel shame, never deserve rebuke, and never stumble. Having trusted in your great and awesome holiness, we shall celebrate your salvation with joy. Together, gather us in peace from the four corners of the earth, and lead us upright to our land. For you, O God, work wonders. You chose us. Truly you drew us near to your great name, and we might acknowledge you, declaring you one in love. Praise be you, Adonai, who chooses your people Israel in love. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher ba'amo Yisrael be'achava. Page 114.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated. Page 116. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meyotecha v'chayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha Veshinantam levanecha, vedivartam bam, beshitecha vevetecha, uvlechtecha vaderech, uvshochbecha, uvkumecha, ukshartam leyot al yadecha, vechayulatetafo beinenecha, uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha, Uvisharecha leman tiskeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim leloheichem ani Adonai Eloheichem asher hotzeiti em ne'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem lelohim Ani Adonai Elohim. We read together in the middle of the page. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand, and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am Adonai your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai your God. Adonai Elohechem Emet. Please turn to page 121. Emet. There is no place where you are not. Even in the wilderness there is your word. Emet. That pen strokes of lightning, white fire, black flame. Stir the soul's passion, guide our sacred way. True and enduring is Torah. Your truth for us is certain and established. Now and forevermore, like Moses, Miriam, and all Israel, we sing out and rejoice.
Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, shira chadasha shimechu geulim, לשמחה שפת הים, יחד כולם הודו, והמליכו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. צור ישראל, קומה בעזרת ישראל, ותכן יהודה וישראל. בוא עלינו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Rock of Israel, rise in support of Israel and redeem Judah and Israel as you promised. Our Redeemer, Adonai Tziva'ot, is your name. Blessed are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel.
We continue now with our tefillah on pages 124, 126, and 128. Please rise. Adonai sefatav tivta ufi agitahilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rahel ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagidol Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, Vekoneh Hakol, Vezoher Hasdeavot Ve'imaot, Umevi Geula Livnei Vnehem, Leman Shemo Ve'ahava, Melech Ozir Umashia Umagen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah. Ata Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mehaye Hakol Ata, Rav Leoshia, Mechalkel Hayim Behesed, Mehaye Hakol Berachamim Ramim, Somech Noflim Verofe Holim, Umatir Asurim, Umakaye Emunato Lishanei Afa, Michamo Hapal Givurot, Umedom Melach, Melech Mimit, Umahaye Yeshua. V'ne'eman ata lehayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai mehayeh hakol. We read together in the middle of page 128. You are forever mighty, Adonai. You give life to all. You sustain life through love, giving life to all, through great compassion, supporting the fallen, healing the sick, freeing the captive, keeping faith with those who sleep in the dust. Who is like you, source of mighty acts? Who resembles you, a sovereign who takes and gives life, causing deliverance to spring up, and faithfully giving life to all? Blessed are you, Adonai, who gives life to all. Page 130.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאיך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש קדוש קדוש, אדוני צבאות, מלוא הארץ כבודו. אדירנו אדוני אדוננו, באדיר שמך בכל הארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו ומלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון, לדור ודור. הללויה, לדור ודור נגיד גולך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
To all generations, we will declare your greatness, and for all eternity, proclaim your holiness. Your praise, O God, shall never depart from our lips. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Please be seated. Page 132.
שומרי 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 שבת קורא עונג שבת, ישמחו במלכותך. שומרי 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 שבת קורא עונג שבת. מקדשי שביעי שבת, כולם ישמעו ויתענגו בטובך שבת, ישמחו במלכותך. שומרי 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 שבת קורא עונג שבת, ישמחו במלכותך. שומרי 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 שבת קורא עונג שבת. והשביעי רצית בו וקידשו שבת, חמדת ימים אותו קראת שבת, ישמחו במלכותך. שומרי 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 שבת קורא עונג שבת, ישמחו במלכותך. שומרי 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 שבת קורא עונג שבת. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת, זכר למעשה בראשי שבת ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת.
Page 133. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable, without a moment's gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. Page 134. Our God and God of our ancestors, be pleased with our rest. Sanctify us with your mitzvot and grant us a share in your Torah. Satisfy us with your goodness and gladden us with your salvation. Purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, Adonai our God, grant us your holy Shabbat as a heritage. May Israel, who sanctifies your name, rest on Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat. Page 137. On this holy Shabbat, may we draw nearer to life, to peace, and to joy. May we find true rest, holiness in our deeds, worth in our study of Torah. Let us feed on the love of goodness. Let us drink from the love of goodness. Restrain our thirst for excess and cleanse our hearts to serve life well. On this holy Shabbat, may we draw nearer in life, in peace, and in joy. Page 138. Modim anachnu lach, she'ata hu Adonai Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, le'olam va'ed. Tzur hayinu, magei nishenu, ata hu lador v'dor. Nodeh lecha, unasaper tehilatecha, al hayinu hamisurim beyadecha, ve'al nishmotenu hapukudot lach, ve'al nisecha shebechol yom imanu, ve'al niflotecha v'tovotecha shebechol et erev v'vokar v'tzohorayim. Hatov ki lo chalu rachamecha ve'hamrahem, ki lo tamu hasadecha me'olam kivinu lach, ve'al kolam yitbarach ve'yitramam shimacha, Malkeinu tamid leolam va'ed, v'chol ha'hayim yoducha selah v'halalu et shimacha be'emet. Ha'el yishuatenu v'ezratenu selah, Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimacha ulecha na'eh lehodot. We read together in the middle of the page. We acknowledge with thanks that you are Adonai, our God and God of our ancestors forever. You are the rock of our lives and shield of our salvation in every generation. Let us thank you and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for your souls which are in your care, for your miracles that we experience every day, and for your wondrous deeds and favors at every time of day, evening, morning, and noon. O good one, whose mercies never end, O compassionate one, whose kindness never fails, we forever put our hope in you. For all these things, O sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Page 140. Grant peace, goodness, and blessing, grace, kindness, and mercy to us and to all your people Israel. Bless us, our Creator, all of us together through the light of your presence. Truly, through the light of your presence, Adonai our God, you gave us a Torah of life, the love of kindness, justice, and mercy, blessing, life, and peace. May you see fit to bless your people Israel at all times, at every hour, with your peace. Praised are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace.
שים שלום, טובה וברכה, חן וחסד ורחמים ורחמים עלינו, ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל ישראל עמך, ברכנו יוצרנו כולנו כאחד, באור פניך, כי באור פניך נתת לנו, אדוני אלוהינו. שים שלום, טובה וברכה, chen v'chesed v'rachamim v'rachamim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha Torah chaim ve'ahavat chesed u'tzedaka u'veracha v'rachamim v'chaim v'shalom sim shalom tova uvracha chen v'chesed v'rachamim v'rachamim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha v'tov be'einecha levarech et amecha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך שים שלום טובה וברכה חן וחסד ורחמים ורחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל עמך.
We pray silently.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו על כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
In our prayer book, we turn to page 244 as we prepare for the reading of Torah. Ein kamocha ve'Elohim Adonai ve'ein kama'asecha malchutcha malchut kol olamim umamshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai oz le'mo yiten, Adonai varech et amo v'ashalom. There is none like you among the gods, Adonai, and there are no deeds like yours. You are sovereign over all worlds, and your dominion is in all generations. Adonai reigns, Adonai has reigned. Adonai will reign forever and ever. Adonai will give strength to our people. Adonai will bless our people with peace. It's a privilege now to call to the Bima to open the doors of the Holy Ark with us, Asuncion Beth Israel and Gina Capelli. And to stand by the Torah reading table here to assist in undressing the Torah, Liliana Jerade. As we make our way to the Holy Ark, we turn to page 248 and we rise.
Avarahim hetiva virtzonecha et Zion tivnei chomot Yerushalayim ki levan matapu elech eram benisa Adon olamim.
Havogodel Eloheinu unuchavo la Torah. Let us declare the greatness of our God and give honor to the Torah.
Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, ki mitzion tetzei Torah, udevar Adonai mirushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, le'amo Yisrael, b'kedushato, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Gadlul Adonai iti, uneromema Shemo yachdav. Lecha Adonai hagedula, v'hagevura, v'hatiferet, v'hanetzach, v'hahod. Ki chol b'shamayim uvaretz, ki chol b'shamayim uvaretz. Lecha Adonai hamamlacha, v'hamitnaseh lechol derosh.
On this Shabbat morning, our Torah reading comes from the book of Exodus, beginning in chapter 20, verse 1, in the portion called Yitro. It's a privilege to call to the Bima to stand before the Torah to recite the blessings, giving thanks to God for its gifts, Yosef Jerade and Leon Jerade.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
Baruch Adonai Habarach Leolam Vahen.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים, ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen.
אמן. ודבר אלוהים את כל הדברים האלה לאמור. אנוכי אדוני אלוהיך אשר הוצאתיך מארץ מצרים מבית עבדים. לא יהיה לך אלוהים אחרים אל פניי. לא תעשה לך פסל וכל תמונה אשר בשמיים ממעל ואשר בארץ מתחת ואשר במים מתחת לארץ. לא תשתחווה לכם ולא תעבדם, כי אנוכי אדוני אלוהיך אלקנה פוקד עוון אבות על בנים, על שלישים ועל רבעים לשונאי, ועושה חסד לאלפים, לכבאי ולשומרי מצוותיי.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Privileged now as David takes his place to continue to read our Torah and is called as a bar mitzvah.
נא לעמוד, הבחור בר מצווה דוד חזק.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
Baruch Adonai Habarach Leolam Vahen.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים, ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה. לא תישא את שם אדוני אלוהיך לשווא, כי לא ינקה אדוני אשר יישא את שמו לשווא. זכור את יום השבת לקדשו, 6 ימים תעבוד עשית כל מלאכתך, ביום השביעי שבת לאדוני אלוהיך. לא תעשה כל מלאכה אתה ובנך וביתך, עבדך ואמתך ובחמתך, וגרך אשר בשעריך, כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים והארץ, את הים ואת כל אשר בם, וינח ביום השביעי. על כן בירך אדוני את יום השבת ויקדשהו. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי העולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen.
Shake cantor, and give your parents a big hug because you did a beautiful job. Such a beautiful job.
Our Torah reading continues in the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 12. In Yitro, a privilege to invite to the Bima to recite the blessings once more as we give thanks to God for the gift of Torah, Jocelyn Wurzburg, Mickey and Stanley Rubenstein, and Cheryl and Michael Rubenstein. Baruch Adonai Hamorach Leolam Vahed.
Baruch Adonai Hamorach Leolam Vahed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Hamim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. כבד את אביך ואת אמך, למען יעריקון ימיך על האדמה, אשר אדוני אלוהיך נותן לך. לא תרצח, לא תנאף, לא תגנוב, לא תאנח ברעך את שקר, לא תחמוד בית רעך, לא תחמוד אשת רעך, ועבדו ואמתו ושורו והמורו וכל אשר לרעך. וכל העם רואים את הקולות ואת הלפידים ואת קול השופר ואת ההר אשר וירא העם וינו ויעמדו מרחוק ויאמרו אל משה דבר אתה עמנו ונשמע ואל ידבר עמנו אלוהים פן נמות. ויאמר משה אל העם אל תיראו כי לבעבור נעשות אדיכם באלוהים ובעבור תהיה יראתו על פניהם לבלתי תהתהו.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah amet chayei olam noten. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. How delighted we are that Sydney now takes her place as Bat Mitzvah to recite the blessings and continue our reading.
Na la'amod, habachura bat mitzvah, Rachel devorah chizki.
Baruchu et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai hamorach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vayomer ha'am merachok u'Moshe nigash el harafel asher sham Elohim. Vayomer ha'am Adonai El Moshe כה תאמר אל בני ישראל אתם ראיתם כי מן השמיים דיברתי עמכם לא תעשון איתי אלוהי כסף ואלוהי זהב לא תעשון לכם מזבח אדמה תעשה לי וזבחת עליו את עולתך ואת שלומך את צאנך ואת בקריך בכל המקום אשר אזכיר את שמי אבוא אליך ותחללך וברכתיך ועם מזבח אבנים תעשה לי לא תבנה אתכם גזית כי הרבך הנפת עליך ותחללך ולא תהלך ברעך על מזבחי אשר לא תגלח ערוותך עליו. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורה אמת ויהיה עולם נטע בתוכנו ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen.
Beautiful. Breathe. Your cantor. Really well. Beautiful. Give your hands a big hug. Big. Beautiful.
And it's a privilege to call on Forrest Rubenstein and Sam Rubenstein to join us to assist in dressing the Torah. Please join us.
Our Haftarah comes from Isaiah chapter 6, verses 1 through 3. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar b'nivim tovim v'ratza v'divrehem hane'emarim be'emet Baruch atah Adonai הבוחר בתורה ובמשה עבדו ובישראל עמו ובנביאי האמת והצדק. בשנמות המלך עוזיהו ואראה את אדוני יושב על כיסא רם ונישא ושולב מלאים את ההיכל, שרפים עומדים ממעל לו שש כנפיים לאחד בשתיים יכסה פניו ובשתיים יעשה רגליו ובשתיים יעופף וקרא זה אל זה ויאמר קדוש קדוש Kadosh Adonai Tzevaot, Melech haaretz kevodo.
Our of Torah continues with Isaiah chapter 6, verses 4 through 6. Vayanu amo hasipim mikol hakorei v'chabai imale ashan. Vayomar oili nidmeti ki ishtem sefatayim anochi ubeto amtemei sefatayim anochi yoshev ki et hamelech Adonai Tzevaot ra'u einai bayav elai ehad mina serafim uviado ritzpah b'melkachayim lakach me'al hamizbeach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzur kol haolamim tzadik bechol chadorot ha'el hane'eman haomer ve'oseh hamedaber u'mekayem shekol devarav emet v'tzedek al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al hanevi'im ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu lekidusha ve'lemenucha lechavod u'letifaret achakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach u'meparekim otach yibarach shimcha befi kol chai tamid le'olam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. My Torah portion, Yitro, is very important. It happens on the third day after Moses goes up to Mount Sinai and he speaks with God. Moses comes down to speak with the Israelites and lays out everything God commanded. This parsha is mostly about the 10 commandments that God gave to the Israelites to live by. The 10 commandments are the 10 most important rules for social behavior and establish basic principles for human interaction. The objective of these commandments is to establish a framework where people respect each other, live by a set of common laws. My part is about the first 4 commandments, which focus on the relationship between God and mankind. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself an idol. You shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God. And remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. Usually, people don't like rules because they forbid you from doing many things. But if you pay more attention, you will find out that without rules, the world would be more chaotic. A long time ago, I read a book called No Rules for Michael. In this book, a little boy named Michael hated following rules. One day, he told his teacher that he didn't want rules. The teacher said they could try no rules for one day, and Michael was very pleased. The next day at school, he went to put his backpack on the rack, but his place was taken, which he didn't like. He told the teacher, and she reminded him that there were no rules that day. Later, he went to do the show and tell, but no one would let him speak, and that upset him a lot. He went to the teacher again and told her that no one was letting him talk, and again she reminded him that there were no rules. This kept on happening throughout the whole day. At the end of the day, he realized that rules are important and that the world needed them to function properly. I learned the moral from this story. Rules have a purpose, including the ones your parents make. There have been a lot of times when I didn't agree with my parents' rules, but in the end, they have a purpose. My dad has a rule where I can't use my phone in the car. My dad says he's not my driver and we should talk about our day. I really hate this rule, and I always try to hide my phone from him. Usually he sees it and tells me to put away my phone, and I get annoyed. I've learned that when I stop using my phone for some time, I feel free and more creative to do things I never think of. Even though I might try using my phone in the car, I don't use my phone that much anymore because I realize it's better for me. It gives me time to think about everything that is happening in my life and to see all of my surroundings. Now, as an adult in the Jewish community, I realize how important the fourth commandment is and how relevant and continues to be in our present-day world. It refers to working as hard as you can during the week, but you also deserve a break from everything to relax and go back to working hard. In today's world, everyone is busy with emails, social media, phones, TV, and more. We all should leave time for ourselves and our family to enjoy, to think, and to rest. Jewish tradition teaches us that following rules is very important and that every action has a good or bad consequence. In the Torah, the Israelites disobeyed God a lot of times, sometimes as a whole and sometimes specific people. Every time the Israelites disobeyed God, he punished them, but in the end, he would forgive them. A good example of this in my life would be playing with my friends instead of doing homework. Even if it seems like an amazing idea at the moment, not doing your homework will affect you in the future. You will probably get in trouble and you'll have to do it anyway. My parents always tell me to think about the possible outcomes of every decision I take. This is important because if I do things that are smart, I'm very likely to get a good outcome. Decisions can be very important and sometimes they take time. For this, me and Sydney took a lot of time to think about our bar mitzvah project. For our project, we chose to raise money and buy stuffed animal dogs called hobukis that can hug you by the neck. We will be donating them to kids in Ukraine to help them with all the stress and provide them with emotional security. On this special day, I want to thank some very important people that have helped me. I want to start off with my grandparents. They are probably the most important people here, no offense to anyone. I love my grandparents because they spoil me and they love me. They always push me to be my best self and to work hard. Te amo, nona, te amo, abuela. Next, I want to thank my parents because without them, I wouldn't be here. They have pushed me through every practice and lesson and made me feel confident of myself. I also want to thank them for being such amazing parents and helping me be who I am. I want to thank my little sister, Gabby, for being such an amazing sister. Even though we fight a lot and you make me suffer, I love you the most. I want to thank my great aunt, Yemile, my aunt, Vivian, and my cousins, Celia and Emily, for coming from Mexico, and my aunt, Liliana, for coming from Canada. I also want to thank Rabbi Lyon, Rabbi Scott, Cantor Freibush, Mike Mason, and Debbie for helping me prepare for this day. Sydney, it has been a great pleasure doing this with you. Thank you for being such a good partner and friend. Mazel tov. Lastly, I want to thank my amazing friends for being amazing. Thank you everyone for coming to support me on this special day. Shabbat Shalom.
My Torah portion, Yitro, is about commandments 5 through 10, which are honor our parents and all the shall nots. It's clear there were many rules. I asked myself, what do all these rules have in common? I realized to follow all these rules, we need to be honest. But whom must I be honest with? You have to be honest with yourself before you're honest with others. If you don't believe the truth, how will anyone else? But God is in you and in me and in all of us, so we should also be honest with God. No matter who it is or what the circumstances, we must be honest with God, with others, and with ourselves. In Proverbs, it says, whoever speaks the truth gives honest evidence, but false witness utters deceit. This quote brings us back to the 9th commandment, do not bear false witness against your neighbor. Honesty relates to this commandment the most. When you think of bearing false witness against someone, you most likely think of a court case. Back in October, my dad was on a jury for a murder case. He and all the other jurors had to listen very carefully to all the witnesses and hope that everyone was being honest with what they were saying. One dishonest answer could do so much damage to the defendant as well as to the witness. Honesty is very important, but sometimes it can be hard to tell the truth. Once when I was 5, I saw my mom's credit card in her purse. I wanted to buy something online, so I hid the credit card under my pillow. That night, after my mom went to bed, I used it to buy some online games. In the morning, my mom confronted me about it. She said someone had used her credit card last night and asked if it was me. I responded, no, and went up to my room. I tried to take my mind off of it, but I felt really guilty about lying. So I told my mom the truth, but instead of being mad at me, she thanked me for being honest. I realize even if honesty is hard, it's right. Just like everyone, I've made mistakes, but I promise as a bat mitzvah to make a bigger effort to being honest, even when it's difficult. For our mitzvah project, David and I are raising funds to help children in Ukraine who have been devastated by the Russian invasion. All of the funds we raise will be used to buy special stuffed animals that were designed specifically to help soothe children living in war zones. These stuffed dogs are called habukis. It's the Hebrew word for hugs. The habuki's long arms and vocal paws are perfect for hugging kids. If you would like to know more about the Habuki project, there's a poster outside of the sanctuary with a QR code you can scan. On this special day, I would like to take this time to thank some very special people. Rabbi Lyon, Rabbi Scott, Mike Mason, Cantor Feibush, and Deb. I would not be standing here without the 5 of you. You made preparing for my bat mitzvah fun and easy to do. You are all so amazing and will always have a special place in my heart. To my friends, thank you all for coming. It means so much to see you guys out here today. To all of my aunts, uncles, and cousins, I love seeing all of you during holidays and summer break. Thank you so much for traveling from all over to come see me today. You all are so important to me, and I love you very much. I have very few relatives who live in Houston, so that's why I'm lucky to have a huge number of my parents' friends in town who have always treated me like family. I've grown up with you all and could not be where I am here today without you. David, eres un amigo increíble. Me ha encantado crecer contigo y tu familia es tan dulce y acogedora conmigo. Muchas gracias por ser mi compañero de B'nai Mitzvah. Papa Richard, I'm so sad I never got to meet you. I've heard so many great stories about you. I know we would have had a lot of fun together. Grandma Jossie, you have taught me so much. Your stories of fighting for civil and women's rights are so inspiring. You make it your mission to show me the greatness of Memphis whenever I visit. You have truly made the world a better place. Mimi, whether we're planning a destined trip 3 years in advance or gossiping in the car on our way home from a girls' day, you always make me feel so special. You tell us you don't have a favorite grandchild, but come on. Tally, I love hanging out with you and all of my cousins. Going to the track and the McWayne Center is always more fun when you're around. It's nice to know there will always be a Hershey's Kiss nearby whenever I'm with you. When I was little, my teacher gave the class an assignment. We had to write down what we were made of in one word. I remember looking at that blank note, clueless on what to say. My parents have worked hard and honest their whole lives, so mine would be perfect. They have made their community of friends and family all around them. Whether you're a family member or the postman, they always welcome you with open arms. This has shown me the importance of acknowledging everyone around me. Mom, thank you for the wonderful experiences you have created for me. I've been able to travel all over the world and spend time with you and Dad on surprise trips and adventures. I will never forget all of the amazing memories we have made together. Dad, you are behind the scenes in everything I do, helping me with Hebrew homework, playing basketball with me, and running lines. You are the busiest person I know, yet you always drop whatever you're doing to take me anywhere I need to go. Now, I'm proud to remember looking back at the blank note, picking up a pen, and writing down the word, parents. Today, I offer a special prayer to God. I hope for the strength to be honest, even when it's hard. And now that I'm a Jewish adult, I will take that responsibility even more seriously. Thank you all for coming. Shabbat Shalom.
David and Sydney, this was a treat today, truly. In ancient times, as described in your Torah portion, people brought animals for sacrifice. They were their offerings to God. Thankfully, we don't do that anymore, but we bring our prayers, we bring our hopes, and you brought a perfect offering today of your prayers, your heart, and your soul. I want to share a few words with each of you and both of you. Your parents and grandparents, I know today, are kvelling. It means they're just overflowing with joy and expectations and gratitude for all that you've done. Each of you has, what do we say, a good neshama. It means you have a good soul. You have a good feeling about yourselves. You bring everything that you can to all that you do in athletics and dance and song, in sports and academics and friendships. All of these things speak so beautifully and so brightly about both of you. Sydney, you're growing up so beautifully, and to listen to you sing and to share the prayers was a treat today. The way you handled your Torah portion was beautiful, and you spoke about the heaviness of honesty in your speech, which is such an important principle in our Judaism. We learn in school that we have to be perfect. A+ is what we're always aiming for. But the truth is that we know sometimes we aren't perfect, but if we are true and honest about the person that we are, then we know that we'll always bring the very best that we can, and we'll always be judged and appreciated for the effort that you made. And that we got a glimpse of proudly and beautifully today. Honesty, goodness, gratitude is what is so deep in your heart, Sydney. We have every expectation that as you continue to grow as the young Jewish woman that you are, that you will appreciate others in your world as you do, but you'll also appreciate who you are growing to be, a person of goodness, of integrity, and most importantly, of honesty. You don't have to slip the credit card under your pillow anymore. Sydney, it's a delight to know that you've grown among us too. As we've watched you grow through the Schlenker School and beyond, you have truly taken into your heart your Hebrew, your prayers, your sense of what it means to be a Jewish adult. We're looking forward to all that you're going to do and to be in the future among us and with us. Mazel tov to you. David, you did a beautiful job too. Your Hebrew, the English, the passion that you brought to all that you led today is so meaningful to all of us, and I know that your grandparents, parents, and others appreciate that we've incorporated every way for everyone to understand what it means to stand before God in English, in Hebrew, and Spanish. God hears all our prayers. And you spoke of the mitzvah, the commandments, so many in your Torah portion. The question we learn to ask in Judaism is not, will I keep the Sabbath? Because if we ask that question, the answer could be no. The question we ask is, how? How will I keep the Sabbath? How will I remember that God is one God? Then the answer can never be no. The answer is what we make of it. And you, as a young Jewish man, are growing up to appreciate goodness and honesty too. You've learned well from your parents and grandparents and from friends. And as long as you continue to ask yourself the question, how will I do? How will I respond to the mitzvah that is now my obligation to bear? I believe that you'll always find yourself in the right place doing the right thing. But if you don't, you'll turn to Sydney because she knows the right way and the honest way. And as you've come to appreciate each other as B'nai Mitzvah partners and as friends, we know that in the company that you keep, you will find honest ways, wholesome ways, and Jewish ways to make each step in the future something you are always proud of. I also want to comment that your parents and grandparents have been an incredibly rich part of who you have become. I've seen it in your parents as I've come to know them and appreciate them, that everything that you are today is everything they hoped you would be on the day you were born and each and every day after that. So if you want to get it right and get an A+, be honest, be good, but I think they would say to you, as I will say to you, keep doing what you're doing. It's a beautiful start and a beautiful path that is unfolding in front of you. So mazel tov to you. Let me share with you gifts from the congregation because they are well earned this day. For each of you, David and Sydney, a Kiddush cup from the sisterhood that you can use at your Sabbath table and other sacred occasions to sanctify those moments and reflect on the joy that you're sharing as a family. For each of you, a gift certificate from Kehillah High. This is for $100 discount off the Kehillah High Israel trip. which is open to all rising 10th and 11th graders in our community. Kila High is our beautiful Wednesday night program for 8th through 12th graders at Beth Israel, Beth Yeshurun, Bris Shalom, and many others. And for both of you, your certificate of your bar and bat mitzvah respectively, we're so proud that you were called to the Torah and read from Yitro. You read from the 10 Commandments, the heart of our people, and we know that you are the heart of our future. We're delighted that you've achieved so much. Now it's our privilege to call on Rabbi Scott and Cantor Feibush so that we may bless you on this day, turning to face the Holy Ark behind me. It's a pleasure to extend you the blessing of old, that it may go well with you today and for many years to come.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and protect you.
Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's presence shine upon you and always be good to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May God grant each of you, Sydney and David, all that you wish for yourselves, all that your parents and grandparents, family wish for you. May be long life, mitzvah, good health, and the greatest blessing of all, a lifetime of peace. Amen. Mazel tov. Now we prepare to return the Torah to the Holy Ark, and it's a privilege to call on Mindy Wurzburg and Richard Wurzburg to join us on the bima to open the doors of the Ark. As we raise the Torah now, we rise. Yehalalu et Shem Adonai ki nizgav shemo levado. Let us praise the name of the Lord, for God's name alone is exalted.
Eitz ha'imhi lamachasikim ha v'tomcheha de'ushar deracheh
In our prayer book, we turn to the bottom of page 282 and 287, and we join in Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shapeach la'adon ha'kol, la'tit gedula le'utzer brishit, shelo asanu kikoye ha'ratzot, v'lo samanu kemishbechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'goraleinu kechol ha'monam, va'anachnu koreim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'nemar Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz bayom ha'u Adonai echad u'shemo
Please remain standing.
We turn now to page 294, and as we do, we call to heart and to mind all of our loved ones who have departed from this life and gone on to the peace of life eternal. And on this Shabbat morning, we are especially thinking of those members of David and Sydney's family who are here with us today in spirit. Lovingly, we remember Mary Mizrahi, Jaime Jerade, Juan Beth Israel, Maria Rosa Munoz, Graciela Belwarte, Richard Warsberg Sr. In each of their honor and their memory, we join together now in words of Kaddish. Yit Gadal V'Yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alman Divrach Hirute, V'Yamlich Malchute, V'Chayachon V'Yomechon U'Chaye Dechol Beit Yisrael, V'Agala V'Zman Kariv Yimru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam Olmei Almaya, Yit Barach V'Yishtabach V'Yit Pa'ar V'Yitroman V'Yitnaseh, V'Yit Hadar V'Yitaleh V'Yitalal Shemei Kudesha B'Richu, Le'olam Min Kol Birchata V'Shirata, Tush Bechata V'Nechemata, Damiran V'Alma V'Yimru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'Chayim Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Yimru Amen. Oseh Shalom V'Romav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Yimru Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and bring comfort to all of the bereaved among us, as together we say, Amen. Please be seated. At this time in our service, our formal prayers have ended, but our blessings continue. So I'd like to invite David to join me here on the lower bima now, and to invite your parents forward to share some personal words.
David, mi niño, finally we are here, the big day, your bar mitzvah. How are you feeling? I hope you feel very proud of yourself because you have done an amazing job. David, you have worked very hard and I'm very proud of you. It took you a lot of hours, days, months, and us chasing you. But you did it. I want to let you know that not only us, we are proud of you. My parents, who you didn't know, couldn't be prouder of you. I know that for sure. When I see you, I see a lot of them in you. From my mother, the spark in your eyes, the beautiful way you see people. From my father, the wild side. David, you have such a beautiful energy. Since you were little, you loved to participate in everything. Nothing could stop you. Even now, you try new sports, play the piano, the guitar, join the chorus at the school. Anything goes. Let me tell you one story of the many where I realized that nothing could stop you and your inquisitiveness. You were on 3rd grade and you wanted to participate in the school spelling bee. Your father and I didn't want you to do it, but you insisted. The school gave you a long list with many words. I have no idea how many words, but many. So your plan was to study a few words every night for about a month. But you never read a single word from the list, not even the rules of the contest. The date of the contest, your dad and I offered you not to participate because it wasn't mandatory, and you did not practice anything. Yet, you choose to do it. No fear, nothing could stop you. By the way, you did extremely well. The next year, you did it again. You told us you wanted to participate at the school spelling bee. But this time, when they gave you the list, we started to practice every night. You work hard, not only hard, you work with me and my accent. as many of you have realized by now, when I speak, I have just a little bit of accent. So can you imagine working us together? For David. For you, it was harder because every time that I tried to say a word, you just look at me like, Mom, I have no idea what you just said. So I don't remember if it was your idea or mine, but we ended up using Google Translation, where you write a word, press a button, and it says the word out loud. We practice the rest of the words like that for the rest of the month. My theory is you never won the contest because no one of the judges say or pronounce the words like Google or me. But David, this adventure never stopped you to keep trying new things. This is your personality. You never give up. You always smile. You love to be present, participate, to be with your friends and family. All of this is what makes you so special. David, I am very proud of you and the person you are becoming. With your bright energy, loving, and your happiness and passion for living life. Te quiero mucho, mi vida. Más alto.
Good morning. Thank you, everyone, for being here with us. We really appreciate it. David, as Mom says, you have no idea how proud we are of you, not just for this wonderful moment, but for the person you are becoming, a fine young man. Today is a great day of celebration and joy, your bar mitzvah, your next step into Jewish life. You know, it is a joy to be surrounded by you. You are incredibly happy, an incredibly happy person. You enjoy almost everything and try to make the best out of every situation. I haven't seen you play with kids 10 years younger than you or chat with my friends that are 30 years older than you. If there is a tennis ball, you play tennis. If there's a piece of chalk, you figure out a way to have fun with it. The beautiful talit you are wearing is a gift from your grandfather. He used it in his bar mitzvah. He received it from his father, your great-grandfather, who also used it for his bar mitzvah over 100 years ago. Just like this talit, traditions pass from generation to generation. It is not something that just happens. We must constantly work on them. It is the consequence of a lot of time, dedication, effort, and joy. Yes, joy. Today, you are performing a Jewish ritual that is part of our tradition. You are beginning your life as a young Jewish man, always proud of your heritage, as it has a big impact on who you are and who you will become. I want to use the same talit to give you an unrequested fatherly advice. You have noticed that it has a few stains and blemishes. Time has put more than one mark on it. We can think of life in a similar way. We all make a few mistakes, here and there. Those are our stains. It is part of being alive and making choices. You make mistakes, you recover, learn from them, and then move on. Believe me when I say that you will always have us by your side, especially in those hard times that will leave a stain on you, a mark in your soul. We will be there for you, and in the end, all those marks will shape you and hopefully make you grow up to become a better person. I encourage you to always try your best at everything you do, when playing, studying, or working at something. You know how to work hard, and I know that you have seen the benefits of it, the satisfaction it brings to you. More than once have I seen you take on a challenge that required intensity, dedication, and a lot of mental and physical strength. And more than once you were successful. Keep that intensity, learn how and when to use it. Always take time to learn new things, to continue exploring. You have a very inquisitive mind, cultivate it, expand it. Ever since you were a baby, you enjoyed understanding causes and relationships in nature. Your interest and love for all living things is amazing, from worms and lizards, monkeys and birds. You have a very good soul, filled with compassion and good feelings. Never lose that. It is one of your most beautiful qualities. You care so much about other people's feelings and always try to be there as a moral support. I've seen you so many times try to lift someone unhappy or troubled. You care if a friend is set aside and always try to bring that friend in. You stand up for your people. and push for the right thing to do. I'm sure everyone that knows you will have more than one example of this amazing quality. We love you very much and want you to be happy and a successful person. Mazel tov, David. May God bless you.
Sydney, now I'd like you to come join me here on the lower bima and to invite your parents to share some personal words.
I'll definitely need these. And perhaps this. I speak with a bit of an accent also, I assume. I think yours is more charming. Wow, Sydney, what a great, great job you did today. You prepared for this special day so diligently and so joyfully for such a long time, skills that will serve you well in everything you do in life. Hearing your beautiful voice coming from the shower each night as you chanted your Torah portion by memory has been such a treat for me and Mom. You are a remarkable young lady. You're kind, smart, talented, and funny. Kind, hardworking, empathetic, loving, and silly. Did I mention kind? Mom and I are incredibly proud of you for so many things. Things like straight A's in school, except for that A- in Hebrew. Terrific performances on stage, and your first basketball goal. But rather than focusing on these, I'd like to follow the wisdom of Rabbi Joseph Telushkin, who teaches us that we should save our highest praise for our children for when they do acts of loving kindness. And that's what you do all day, every day. Sydney, when you see kids who are misbehaving and their parents are ready to explode, you calmly walk over, whether you know the kids or not, and use your Sydney magic to calm them down. Their parents always look amazed. Mom and I just turn to each other and wink because we know who you are, we know your heart, and you're remarkable. Once when you were 4 or so, you saw a big, ugly cockroach in the house and screamed like crazy. So super dad to the rescue, I took care of the problem and waited for my high five. But no, you looked up at me and said, Daddy, why did you have to kill Kelly the cockroach? She was my friend. Can we bury her in the front yard? But there's one major act of loving kindness that has always defined who you are and how deeply you love people. One morning when you were 6, you came downstairs and you said, Dad, can we do a tzedakah adventure today? I said, absolutely. What exactly did you have in mind? Well, let's drive around and find people who need money and give it to them. Mom said, that's an incredible idea, Sydney. Why don't you give each of them $5? But you immediately counter-offered and said, couldn't we give more than that in case they don't have any money at all? I happily pulled out my wallet and said, let's go. You then said, I'd also like to give them some cold water. So you went and got some small gift bags and placed some cash and a water bottle in each bag. And then you commented, but there's still plenty of room in the bags. Don't you think they'd like some cookies and maybe Hershey's Kisses? To which Mom replied, who wouldn't? We were finally heading to the car to begin our adventure when you asked, Dad, would it be okay if I wrote each of them a little love note? And I said, no, Sydney, that would be way better than okay. We spent the next hour or so driving around Bel Air in Maryland, and when we saw TJ in his wheelchair on the esplanade across from Escalante's, I pulled over so that you could give him his gift bag out the window. Not surprisingly, you said, no, Dad, let's park the car and go over and visit with him. I'm quite sure that your 5-minute visit with TJ was the highlight of his day, his week, perhaps his month. Mom and I are so very blessed to be your parents. You've enriched our lives beyond our wildest dreams. Judaism has a beautiful phrase, B'Tselem Elohim. It means that we're all created in God's image, all of us. But I've always believed that God gives a very few people a double helping of B'Tselem Elohim, and you're definitely one of those people. Thank you, God, for entrusting Sydney to us, or more accurately, us to her. She'll always be your partner in making the world a better place. Mazel tov, Sydney. We love you so much.
Can you take a little more? I think I'll take these out too for safety. Oh, Sydney, Squid, Shake. Any other nicknames you'd like? You know, I could bore everybody here speaking of how wonderful your dad and I think you are. I think we've done that pretty well so far. I could speak of your love of younger kids, art and theater. But instead, I want to speak of your internal hardwiring a little bit, and then go out on a limb and make a bit of a prediction. Tikkun Olam. You define Tikkun Olam. I truly believe that you were put on this planet to help heal it in some form or another. You do it all the time, and I believe you feel it too. Daddy told my favorite story about the Tzedakah adventures. You created them, and they're magnificent. But there's another story I'm fond of as well, and it's when you lost a tooth. Maybe you were 6 or 7. Somehow, the tooth fairy unintentionally left too much money under your pillow. When you woke up the next morning, you knew this was a few more shekels than the tooth fairy usually coughs up. And you knew it was a mistake. None of us had any way of returning the money, right? That's kind of hard. And you knew, but you thought of the perfect thing. Unprovoked, you said, let's give it to the Houston Jewish Federation. And off we went. Your idea. This spontaneous generosity and concern for others is how we think about you. When you were smaller, we hoped we could teach you the joy of giving, but here you were, initiating it all on your own. Frequently, people would comment on your acts of kindness, either towards them or their children. Your personal impact on others occurs so naturally. As intuitive as you are, most of the time you're not even aware of it. It's just what you do, and what others share and appreciate about you. Sydney, you're not all business, though. You're a ton of fun. You have a great wit and a great sense of humor. And one of the things I'll never forget is the time you declared it family movie night, so we could watch one of your favorites at the time, your superheroes in The Incredibles. The price of admission was you made us all dress up as the characters. It was not the best look on us. You were adorable, but did make for a fun family photo. And you're always coming up with creative, fun ideas. But you know, you're also very savvy. You're well aware that the world isn't fair, and it's full of injustices waiting to be cured. And with this in mind, I imagine you could be in theater, inspiring all ages in many ways, or you may be our future Secretary of State or President winning a Nobel Peace Prize. None of this would surprise me, given your heart, your eagerness to help. Any of these options are available to you, nor would anything you choose to do with your determination, your energy, or your intellect. We look forward to seeing what you do with your life, as we know it will be a wonderful and a real contribution. I can't begin to express what a precious gift you've been to us for the last 13 years and what we have to look forward to in our future. I have to say, though, you are my superhero, our Super Sydney. So, congratulations, Shabbat Shalom, and Mazel Tov, babe.
David, come and join us, please. We invite your parents to come forward and also your sister Gabby to join us here on the bima.
And as we take the Kiddush cups and the challah for Sydney and David to lead us in the blessing, let's rise so we can join and share in the blessings before we make our way to Wolftamim Hall for Kiddush luncheon. Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen. We'll uncover the challah. Let's join in the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Good Shabbos.